be able to stream too long or not right now because I'm going to church here in a little bit. But for a little bit, hopefully I can do some streaming here. So I I know I haven't streamed in a while. I've been a mixture of lazy, tired, and well, that's pretty much it. Yeah. Busy. Yeah. Okay, starting off with physiology and histology. Hey, Big Lon, good to see you again. Um, this is just a overall thing so I can catch up. We've been talking about the cardiovascular system recently in physiology and histology. And yeah, so cardiovascular system or the circulatory system is composed of blood, the heart, and blood vessels. The heart being the cardio, right? Cardiac system. The blood, vascular. That's why it's called cardiovascular. But it also includes the lymph system. Functions of the cardiovascular system are substrate delivery, waste removal, gas exchange, endocrine signaling, and immune response and thermoregulation. So, it's essential for the maintenance of life, of course, because if your heart stops beating, it can result in irreversible damage in approximately 4 minutes. This is called the golden window. And that impaired function can damage other organs as well. There's some diagnostic assessments to gauge cardiovascular function. These are things like heart rate, rhythm, sounds, listening for sounds, murmurs, listening for murmurs, measuring blood pressure, radiography. Hey, how's it going? X-rays, echocardiography, which is ultrasound, and then electrocardiography, which is ECG, or otherwise known as EKG, some places. That's measurement electrically of the heart. Okay, those are the heart assessments, but there's also circulatory assessments, like kind of assessing the whole thing. Respiratory rate or effort, capillary refill time. We are talking about physiology and histology, cardiovascular, the cardiovascular system in specific. The color of mucous membranes can help gauge or help assess the circulatory system. You're in grade 5, that's awesome. Presence of edema, not necessarily a good thing, but that can be a function or the sign of malworking circulatory system. Exercise intolerance, it's hard to exercise if you can't beat enough, or you can't get enough blood circulating, can't get enough air delivering oxygen to your tissues. Why are we talking about this? Because I can, I guess. I'm also studying. That's my purpose. I'm studying by kind of regurgitating what I've learned out loud, and maybe it'll help some other people. So that's the purpose of me recording this, and I get to talk to you guys, so it's great. Blood tests. There's also blood tests to assess the function of the heart. These are things like troponin 1, brain natriuretic peptide, which is called BNP, never heard of that, NT-proBNP, and pH. Then there's You can do advanced imaging like CT scans or MRIs as well. Pathology of the heart, which is like causes of disease. Primary causes would be hemorrhage, bleeding, right? If you don't have any blood to pump, how's your heart going to work? It won't. Myocarditis, myo meaning muscle, card meaning heart, I think. Itis meaning inflammation. Hey, how's it going? And then there's congenital malformations. Those are malformations that happen during development. Congenital, right? Those are things that you're just born with, unfortunately. Parasitic infection of the heart or vessels. Chagas disease, heartworms, things like those. And then there's hypertrophic cardiomyopathy, more often than not found in cats and dogs. This is veterinary, by the way. And the thing about this, though, is that, you know, I'm not an actual doctor yet. Good question. But I'm in vet school to be one. I'm in my first year only, so about 3.5 years to go. 3 3/4. I'm only like halfway through my first semester. But thanks. Honestly, I'm just dressed this way because I'm going to church here in a couple minutes, but I appreciate the compliment. Thank you. I maybe I should dress like this more often. It's I don't know, I like it. But anyway. What was I talking about? Yeah, so this is veterinary. But, you know, if I'm going to be an animal doctor, guess what? Humans are technically animals, right? So a lot of this stuff applies to humans as well. A liver is a liver, a kidney is a kidney. They still have the same function. Same stuff, kind of. Okay, equine heart failure. Equine meaning relating to horses. Heart failure. Arrhythmias meaning, well, okay, let's break that down. A meaning not right. Rhythm meaning like a beat, right? Arrhythmia meaning the heart's not beating right. It's beating fast, it's beating slow. It's not a bad thing if your heart's beating fast or slow. It could just mean that you're exercising or you're at rest. But if it's beating too slow, you know, I mean, there's just ways, you know. You start to feel lightheaded. I don't know. There's ways to tell. I don't really exactly know those ways yet. But I mean, again, if you're resting, you don't need blood as much. You don't need the oxygen as much because you're not working hard. And if you're working hard, then you do. So that's why your heart beats quicker when you're working hard. It's kind of common sense. Unless it's not, let me know. Secondary causes of pathology, disease. Liver disease. That can cause heart problems. Renal disease. Renal meaning kidney. Can cause heart problems. Vomiting. Diarrhea. Why vomiting and diarrhea? Electrolytes are important with heart function. You've got to have fluid. Why? Because your blood is like 80% water. I mean, think about it. If you don't have enough water, you probably aren't going to have, you know, if you have dehydration, you're probably not going to have good heart function. Okay, fluid balance and body fluid compartments. Homeostasis and regulation. Maintenance of a relatively constant fluid volume is important for homeostasis. I mean, that's what homeostasis is, right? It's trying to keep normal. That's what it means. Regulation focuses on the total concentration of all solutes. What is a solute? That is a particle dissolved in a solution, whether it be your blood, any kind of liquid. And what that means is you're basically trying to determine the osmotic pressure. The concentration of individual solutes is important, and the total fluid volume is also important. Many animals regulate these factors at the extracellular fluid level, so outside of the cell. Then there's body fluid compartments. So, for example, in a human male, the total fluid volume in an average 70 kilogram male is about 42 liters. That's 60% of the body weight. So there's something called the 60-40-20 rule. 60% of the body weight is fluid, 40% is intracellular fluid, and 20% is extracellular fluid. So that's good to know because the largest body fluid compartment is the intracellular compartment. Good to keep in mind. And it depends on age, sex, or gender, and obesity. If you've got more adipose tissue, you are likely going to be holding less water because adipose tissue is made almost entirely of fat, I believe. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I believe the water content of fat tissue is remarkably low. And if you're older, you're probably going to be more dehydrated. And men are probably going to be more dehydrated than women. That's just a guess. I don't actually know that. But it differs. That's my point. Leaner animals have a greater percentage in body water. Why is that? Because more of their body is made of muscle, which means more of their body has water in it. Because all muscle has water in it. And the leaner you are, the greater percentage of your body is muscle rather than fat, per se. Okay, back to intracellular fluid. That is the fluid inside the cells, constituting 40% of total body weight. So that's like 28 liters in a 70 kilogram animal. The composition of this, it's going to be higher in potassium phosphates, higher in potassium, phosphates, magnesium, and organic acid ions. Also, the intracellular fluid contains about 4 times as much protein as the extracellular fluid. Now, the intracellular fluid is separated from the extracellular fluid by the cell membrane, which is highly permeable to water, which means water can go in and out very easily. Water movement is going to be driven only by osmotic force. Osmosis, remember that osmosis is the moving of water from areas of high concentration to low concentration of solutes. So like if you've got a super salty solution here, you've got a selectively permeable membrane in the middle here, and then you've got a solution with no salt here, both are filled to the top with water. The water is going to go through that selectively permeable membrane to the salty side to kind of even it out. Have you ever eaten a lot of olives or a lot of pickles at, I don't know, Thanksgiving dinner? And, you know, you get those trays. I know I have. I ate like all the olives one time, and I started to get super swollen. You know, that's because I ate too much salt. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a big deal. I just drank some water, peed out the excess later. No significant health issues. Where the health issues would come in is if you've got kidney disease or pre-existing kidney issues. But as a kid, I don't really have, green olives especially. And I mean, they're good. I sure like them, but I ate it. I ate a whole ton of them. I had some pickles, salty stuff, and as a result, I can't remember. So I don't know why you swell because, well, okay, it shifts the fluid from the inside of the cells to the outside of the cell, from the intracellular fluid to the extracellular fluid. That's why you swell. The extracellular fluid, however, is still, it's still contained in your skin, if that makes sense. The skin itself is going to swell. I don't know. It's very interesting to think about. Anyway, extracellular fluid, that's the fluid outside the cells. 20% body weight of the body weight. The major components of this are interstitial fluid, which is 80% of the ECF, extracellular fluid. Yeah, it doesn't sound good. It's really not too big of a deal. It doesn't sound good, you're right. But once your body osmoregulates, which means, you just go back to normal salt level and normal hydration, you'll excrete all of the excess salt and the excess water in your urine. And then it's no longer an issue. Everything will go back to normal homeostasis. So the ECF is 80% interstitial fluid, which is like bathing the cells, and it's 20% plasma. This is just fluid in the vasculature. These ECF fluids are constantly mixing, making the composition almost identical, except for proteins. Sorry, my nose is so itchy. Proteins are going to be higher in the plasma. Exchange of these fluids occurs continuously through capillary membrane pores. Transcellular fluid and lymph are minor components of the ECF, and they're both practically negligible in the volume calculations. There's just not much of it there. But there is a barrier between the interstitial fluid and plasma, and it's called the capillary wall. This is where, that's okay, man. I haven't even posted a video for a week at least. It's probably been longer than that, but no worries, Barry. I said this at the beginning, but it's kind of been a combination of laziness, exhaustion, and busyness. More the first two. I haven't been all that busy, but I have been a little bit busy. And I'm actually going to have to leave here in a couple minutes. Going to church here in a bit. But probably here in 4 minutes. But it's good to talk to y'all again. Oh, but anyway, the capillary wall is where water movement responds to both hydrostatic and osmotic forces, like plasma proteins. Okay, moving on. Blood volume and composition. Blood volume. So your blood, or of an animal, any animal, Blood typically is 5 to 8% of the body weight. So that doesn't sound like much, but I mean, you've got to keep in mind, if I weigh 100, no, if I don't know, say I weigh 200 pounds. I don't weigh 200 pounds. I weigh like 165, but if I weigh 200 pounds and blood is 5% of my body weight, well, that's 10 pounds of blood. That's a lot of blood. 10 pounds. I don't know how many liters that is, but it's 10-pound weight at the gym is pretty, I mean, it's not too heavy, but you know, that's something, right? Anyway, blood contains ECF, which we talked about, ICF. The ECF's mostly the plasma. The ICF is in the RBCs, red blood cells. And then hematocrit is the packed red blood cell volume, which is normally 0.37 to 0.55, I don't know what unit. I don't know what it's talking about here, but anyway. Moving on, osmotic principles and terminology. An osmole is an expression of a solution based on the number of particles. Glucose, non-dissociating glucose, is 1 osmole per gram of MW, molecular weight, I think. And then NaCl, sodium chloride, table salt, dissociates. These are, okay, sorry. Sodium chloride dissociates when it dissociates. Sorry, this is a little strange notes here. It yields 2 osmoles per gram of molecular weight. Okay, the difference between osmolality and osmolarity. Osmolality is osmoles per kilogram of water. Osmolarity is osmoles per liter of solution. In the body, these terms are often used synonymously. So they're kind of the same thing, but not really. But they're used in the same context, and they basically mean the same thing. Okay, then there's osmotic pressure, which is pressure exerted by the number of particles per unit of fluid, not the mass. And water follows particles. Not size of particles, it just follows particles. If you've got 1,000 particles in this side of the selectively permeable membrane, hey, how's it going? And then you've got 500 here, so 1,000 here, 500 here. The water is going to shift over to this side because there's more particles. And then there's hydrostatic pressure, which drives blood out of the capillaries. I've got to stop here, guys. Thank you for watching. I'm going to church, but I appreciate you guys watching my videos. Yeah, if you guys want to see more, then just subscribe, I guess. And I'm trying to post often. I need to like figure out a schedule. I'm probably going to make a poll, maybe, if I remember. Maybe I can set an alarm. Am I gay? No. But I'll set an alarm to make a poll, to figure out a schedule. Maybe 2 days a week. I don't know. I really like posting videos. 2 days, 3 days. I'll figure it out. But Saturdays are like my super free day. So yeah. Do I have a PhD? No. No, I do not. But in 3 3/4 years, is that grammatically correct? I don't know. I should have a DVM, Doctor of Veterinary Medicine degree. So, because I'm going to be a veterinarian. This is veterinary stuff. Now, I could also make lives about non-veterinary stuff. Just, I don't know. I mean, I've got plenty of time. I just need to figure out scheduling. That's the thing. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Hopefully, I'll talk to y'all later and see y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching.